You're listening to the Hustled Up Podcast. We're Holly and Laura, besties since birth, cleaning business owners, multi-passionate doers, and founders of the Hustle Haven, a modern business education and networking collective built for fellow entrepreneurs who crave growth, support, and real connection. Now, we're your go-to girlies for the real side of entrepreneurship. We're covering wins, fails, and the messy middle. So come on in and let's talk branding, booking, burnout, and everything in between. If you're in serious need of tips, tea, total transformation, and that let's freaking go energy, you're in the right place. Grab your earbuds, turn up the volume, and let's hustle up. Welcome, guys, to Hustled Up After Hours.
We are going to be going live the first Thursday of every month. And as we already mentioned, the way that this is going to look a little different is that it's going to have a lot more of a relaxed feel. As you can see here, we did make ourselves some cocktails. And I'm not going to lie, y'all, because, you know, we always keep it real and raw on the Hustled Up podcast, and even more so after hours. I planned this whole thing. I was going to go to the liquor store, make a hustle-teeny, get creative, a hustle-teeny. Instead, we are drinking strawberritas right out the can in our fancy hustled up cups. But I think this gets an A for effort. We have cute cups.
I agree.
So A for effort. So if you like to unwind on a Thursday evening with an adult beverage, feel free to do so. If not, grab your favorite tea, coffee, water, whatever you fancy, and have a drink with us while we spill the tea.
I'm so excited for this episode and just in general, this whole thing.
Me too.
And if nobody joins us right now, catch us on the replay. We're going to be sharing these as a regular podcast episode every Tuesday. I guess, first Tuesday after we go live. Yeah. But honestly, it's more fun live because then you can chat and spill your own tea.
Yeah, we want all the tea. This is definitely very loosey-goosey. Very, still profesh. We're always profeshy here, but a little more loosey-goosey, a little more spicy, as I like to say. Okay. So should we jump right in?
I'm very much willing to do that, but it looks like the link is not working for people to join.
Well, that's very unfortunate. That's very unfortunate.
It worked for me.
It worked earlier.
I don't understand why it's not working. This shit is getting annoying, guys. Like, I don't understand, stupid Riverside. No. But maybe some people are here on Facebook.
Yeah, if you're here on Facebook, say hi. The camera's a little far, so I'm not going to lie to you. I don't know if I'm going to be able to see if you're here. But I do feel like there's a few people watching. So if you are here, say hi, because we will check out the comments later. And, I guess we'll just run with it. We'll just get started. We are recording, so as Holly said, this will be released on Tuesday. So, better than nothing. I just wonder why it's not working. It was literally working earlier.
I don't know. I don't know why it's not working, but that's why nobody's here. Because the link doesn't take them to the proper place. So
that would make sense.
Let me see if I could quickly fix
it. Yeah. If you're here live, please hold. I will talk a little bit about the topic while you do that, just for our people on Facebook. So if you follow us on social media, you already know today's topic is all about horrible boss stories, your horror boss story. And the reason Holly and I felt so inspired to kind of discuss this topic is because we have had a lot of nightmare bosses in our lives. That's one of the reasons why Holly and I decided, you know what, Holly decided, let's start our own business. We've worked for so many people for so many years where we felt undervalued, underappreciated, mistreated, just really nightmare bosses. So we said, you know what? I want to be the boss that I never had. And so did Holly. So that's what kind of inspired us to dive into this topic tonight. And you'll see going forward, a lot of these Hustled Up After Hours episodes are going to be a lot more interactive than the regular podcast. We're going to be asking you guys for a lot of feedback, a lot of you to share your own stories. So we actually got real life stories from some of our friends and listeners that we're going to share with you. So, and we're also, don't think we're not going to spill our own tea, because we are definitely going to spill some of our own tea. Our stories are arguably I think worse than some of these. I mean, we don't want to compare. We don't want to judge or compare apples to apples, but
we've worked for some
bad ones. Yeah.
We've worked for some crap people.
Yeah, we have.
Yeah.
Yeah. We have Holly has a really bad one in particular that I'm thinking of that I can't wait for you to spell.
Oh. There were several, so I don't know.
You don't know which one I'm thinking of?
No.
There's several. Were you able to troubleshoot?
I don't know. Hopefully we'll see.
Okay.
I would like to see if it would work, but this phone that we wanted to use as backup doesn't have Facebook on it.
Fantastic.
So I'm going to try to log in super quick while you get started.
Okay.
And we'll see what happens.
Alrighty. Well, I guess in the meantime, I can get started with some of these, right?
Mm-hmm.
For the folks on Facebook that are here, I'll get started with some of these. This one's a long one, so we're going to save this. All right. Let's start with this one. This one is freaking crazy.
Is it?
It is crazy. You know this one. You know this one. We just, yes. I'm not going to spill names. Of course, whenever you guys submit stuff to us, if you want us to spill your name or their name, like, feel free. We'll spill the tea. But I did ask for all of these anonymously just to protect y'all's privacy. So this one's nuts. So I'm just going to read it from her point of view. So I used to work in the carpenters union, and my foreman was, can I say, kind of a dick? And then she said, am I allowed to curse? I don't know. Okay. So he was a chain smoker and low-key hated women. So I used to get into a little bit of a tiff with him every now and again because I could never understand what he was saying because he always had a cigarette in his mouth. So one day I told him to take it out because I couldn't understand anything he was saying. So he spit it in my face and wrote what he needed to get me on his on my arm in Sharpie because he was mad that I said something to him about smoking.
That's great.
Are you...
Yep. That's crazy.
That's crazy. That's nuts. Like, so much wrong with that, eh?
Yeah.
Like, that's a male-dominated industry, too, I feel.
I mean, this is why I'm already getting, like, I think it's the...
No, I feel this already.
I don't know what it is, but I hate men. I'm sorry.
What if there's men on the line?
Men, I'm sorry. I hate you.
I know. Well, I hate certain men. Certain men.
A lot of men.
A lot of men.
A lot of men.
Not all men. We have great fathers.
Great dads.
Great dads.
Love our dads. In fact, they set the standard very high.
I think that's why
most
too.
men suck.
Yes, like
me.
I don't tolerate any kind of like bullshit from a man. Like Holly knows, like
no,
I don't tolerate it. No, you're done. You're done.
Yep. Peace out. Cub
You
Scout.
cut it off. You cut it off. Also, like writing permanent Sharpie on your arm.
Honestly, I feel like that could have been some kind of harassment claim.
I was just thinking that.
I
Because
do.
he's touching her. Like, don't touch me.
Yeah.
Why are you touching me?
I think it could be like that's it's insane. Like nobody would do that to me.
No, that's really bad. And yeah. Thank God she does not work there anymore.
No. No. Thank God for many reasons. She doesn't work there anymore.
Yes, exactly. That is rough. All right. Since you're taking care of that, Holly, I will read another one.
Yeah, I don't know if there's any hope for me because I can't even log into Facebook because then I have to use my phone, which is being used as the camera, to authenticate it. So
gotcha.
I don't think it's going to be live on Riverside today. So we're just going to...
I wonder if we have anybody here on Facebook. Because
I would like to maybe get your laptop, and I'll sit with it in my lap.
we have one.
You want to log in to your laptop, and then we can sit with it in our laps?
Sure.
And see if anybody's there. All right, so we kind of messed up, and for some reason the Riverside link is not working, or at least to my knowledge it's not. I don't know what's going on or why it's not working. I tested it days ago, and it was working fine. But I'm going to have to yell at Riverside, which is the app we use, or the software we use to do this. But either way, I don't know why it's not working, but we will share this as an episode, like I said, next week. So if you're missing it, definitely catch us next time. Is anybody live with us?
Let's see. Let me turn down my volume so I'm not... So Michelle said hi. So she was here at some point. I don't know if she's still here.
Well, hi, Michelle.
Let's see. Who else is on with us? It says one person. Is that one person me?
Maybe.
I think it is. I think that one person is me. But I'm here. If you guys hop on, I now have my laptop, so I'll be able to say hi to you. So if you are here, I think Michelle is here. Yes, she just waved again. Hi, Michelle.
Which Michelle? I know a lot of Michelle.
Michelle Kruger.
Hi, Michelle.
Yes, the most supportive bestie.
We're having technical issues with our live stream, so we decided to come over to Facebook. But thank you for being here. We're reading horrible boss stories, and Yeah, we have some crazy ones. We have some funny ones. Mm-hmm. All right, so you want me to read the next one?
Yeah, go for it.
Look at these cue cards we made.
I know. Like, the effort was here. Like, technology sucks ass, but, like, between the cue cards, the beverage cups, like
10 out of 10.
10 out of 10 effort, but technology can kiss my butt. But it's all right.
I don't know what happened.
Done is better than perfect. As our fearless leader, Debbie, says, done is better than perfect.
All right, we're going to jump on to the next story. This one's very short.
Ashley is here, too, by the way. Hi, Ashley.
Ashley, I think you tried to Discord us about the link not working. I feel my telepathy was telling me that, and
I'm interrupted because my grandma's calling.
No, you're fine. Oh no, you are.
No, because my grandma's trying to call me.
Oh no,
everything's great. Everything's great right now.
We gotta turn them on airplane mode.
Yep.
Honestly, I kind of want to leave.
We're back.
I kind of want to leave all this.
Yeah, we should leave all this in. So
this is hilarious.
If you guys just had it, or Michelle, if you just saw it pause, my grandma was trying to call me, and I didn't turn my phone on airplane mode. So a lot of lessons learned. A lot of lessons learned here, and we're going to keep all this in. We're going to keep all this in when we release this on Tuesday.
I love it. Also, can somebody confirm? Well, I guess you can. You can hear us, right? Because, we didn't test the sound or anything. We just jumped in so fast.
Yeah, Michelle said it sounds great.
Awesome.
And she said, what's in the glasses? So in the glasses, as I was saying before, I wanted to make a fancy mixed drink and call it a Hustletini, but the day got away from me. So we're drinking strawberries out of a can. So.
Well, it's out of a glass, but it was in a can.
It was in a can. Yes, and now it's in a Q class. So,
and Michelle will be doing a little bit of this, I hope, when we see you.
Yes, we'll see you tomorrow, hopefully.
But okay, great. All right, so we're gonna move on to the next story, and this was actually submitted by a CBFer. Mm-hmm. But I'm not going to drop names.
Nope, no names.
Okay, it says, my old boss always told me how amazing I was, how dependable, how much she could trust me. I asked for a raise from $12 to $15 an hour, and she said she could not do it. I was only 20 years old. I didn't feel valued and started cleaning more houses. And when we started the company, I made sure my employees never felt undervalued. Wow. So this is a classic case of someone getting used and abused by a boss and then taking that and saying, what won't I do? And I feel like that's the case a lot with, and I feel like especially in the cleaning industry, and I could be wrong, but nobody ever really says, when they're younger, I'm going to grow up and own a cleaning business.
Yeah.
It happens on accident. And so, and usually in a lot of cases, it's because there was some jerk that you worked for or, some authority that you couldn't get along with or something. So then a lot of times, and this is why working for a cleaning company is amazing, cleaning company owners know a lot of what they won't do.
Yes. 100%.
You know what I'm saying?
That's why Holly and I do everything we do is more so because we worked for, a lot of people know this, we worked for another cleaning company before starting our own. And I learned some things of what to do, but more so I learned what not to do. Truly. And I know that sounds harsh, and but it's true.
I feel like that's industry wide. A lot of people came from these shitty situations and now they're how am I going to do better for my employees? And that's why working in the cleaning industry is the best.
It is. It really is unlike anything else. And our employees I love them.
They're so good and cute.
I know, I have cute aggression.
I know. Just throw them in the oven and bake them at 350. Okay, you want to take the next one? I'm not sure. I don't know what order we're in. So.
I just put them randomly, honestly. Okay, I'll read this one. So this one is interesting because I feel like a lot of us have stories about sexual harassment, which I do too, which we're not going to dive into that. But this one I am going to share because this person got sexually harassed during a remote job, which I think is crazy that can happen. Yeah, just stay tuned. Holly hasn't heard this one.
I haven't heard this one. A lot of these were submitted to Laura, not me, because she was doing the market research, or you know what I mean. It's not market research, but whatever. And she was getting the submission. So a lot of these are going to actually come. I'm hearing them for the first time. Yeah. So, okay.
This was juicy. It's very spicy. Okay. So I had a remote job a while back where I was being sexually harassed. Yes, sexually harassed remotely. I had never met my supervisor in person, so he's only saw me from my profile picture icon. After a few months, he started sliding into my DMs, And he started messaging me outside of the main work chat. He was asking me weird questions like, what's my height? And then being like, oh, you're a shorty. I'm 6'1". It was also made worse because I worked late hours. So he'd be messaging me stuff like this at midnight and later. Ew, gross. That's yuck.
And this is why.
Men suck.
This is why I hate men.
Men suck.
Sorry.
It gets worse. It gets worse. Then he got my cell number because that's how we had to communicate to call out of work or if there were issues with the internet. He started randomly texting me and making it seem like it was about my schedule, and then tried trying to start weird non-work related conversations. The worst one, and this is bad, the worst one was when he texted me on Christmas when I was working, but he wasn't, wishing me a Merry Christmas. I thought it was harmless enough. I wished him one back. But then he texted me saying, hope you get good presents, ... unless you were naughty this year, ... Ain't no way grown adults are talking about being naughty in an innocent way. I left him on red and left the job when I could.
Oh my God.
Did you ever think that you could be sexually harassed, like, remotely?
I mean, listen, lots of crazy shit can happen in any workplace.
Like, what is that? What is that? It's not bad enough that women have to deal with that, like, in person. You have to deal with that remotely in your own home where you think you're safe. It's crazy. Like, what did he hope to achieve from that?
I wonder,
like, I was naughty.
I was going to say maybe, the right person would have been like, oh, yeah? Tell Santa I was naughty.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, my gosh.
I don't know.
That's crazy.
I don't know what he thought about that. You want to take the next one?
That's crazy, too, because I always thought, like, especially when I was, like, younger and newly out of college and working in the corporate world, I always thought that, like, having a remote job would be, like, the best thing ever. Mm-hmm. And that there was no way things like that could happen. And now I'm like, oh, there is really problems everywhere you go sometimes. Like, not, I sound so, like, Debbie Downer. I'm like, everywhere you go, it sucks. But what I mean is that there can be problems in, like, any business, any industry.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, it's true. No matter what, no job is going to be perfect, but you shouldn't have to deal with that.
All right. So I think this one is the new one. Yep. Okay. All right. I'm going to read this. I don't know who it's submitted by. It's anonymous. Okay. Here we go.
I know who you are.
It's anonymous. ASMR. Okay, I'm sorry. All right. One of my first jobs, I worked overnights in a kind of broadcasting tech position, and I was one of the only women in my department and the only woman working overnight hours. I had a boss who would stay past his shift and to watch the Rangers and curse and scream if they started losing. He was kind of a rageaholic in general and would scream and bang his fists on the desks if there were ever any mistakes or issues at work. My shift only overlapped by an hour with his, but I would feel crazy anxiety just waiting for him to explode. Oh, I would hate that. Yeah. It happened every night. He would also bully and belittle my coworker who had the same shift hours as me. This was an older guy who was soft-spoken and nervous about getting fired or laid off. Every night this boss would scream at my coworker, and if he ever wasn't in, the boss would shit-talk him behind his back to me. That's so sad.
That is sad.
He also showed me pictures of him in Vegas flirting with strippers. They always have to get creepy at some point.
I know.
And tried to talk about what a player he was. Total nightmare of a human being.
Gross. That's just like working with somebody who's a ticking time bomb that can explode at any point is always terrifying because you feel like you're constantly walking on eggshells.
Yeah. I'm lucky that I've never had a boss angry like that. I've only ever dealt with like passive aggressive people. Mm-hmm. But oh my God, I would not be able to do it. I would not be able to do that.
I couldn't. No.
I would have so much anxiety about that.
No, same. I couldn't. Oh my God.
I'm still confused as to how people who behave like this
end up in positions of power.
And yes,
yeah.
Like I'm fucking confused.
Because I feel like, sorry, it's after hours.
It's after hours. I need to have a drink after that one.
Yes, honestly, I'm like beating you. What's going on?
Listen, we both had a long day.
We did. We've had a long week. It's been a long month. But I feel like people like that end up in positions of power because often the little guy gets overlooked.
Yeah.
People that are so out there and so boisterous and stuff like that. They're the ones putting themselves out there. They're the ones with the confidence. Some of it not deserved confidence. So they're the ones that get promoted into positions of power.
I guess that makes sense. It's bullshit, but I guess it does make sense.
I agree.
I don't love that.
No, don't love that.
But I don't know. I don't know. I don't get it.
Yeah.
I don't get it. Like, I wanted to be like, what would I learn from this? Don't be a freaking asshole.
No, I know. There's nothing, like, we're trying to think of, like, in these situations, how would we have handled it? But I feel like all these submissions, I'm like, I would never act like this.
And you wouldn't act like this in the first place.
No.
You know what I mean? Like, they're just doing it to do it. Whereas, like, the story that I'm going to tell after we're done reading these ones, like, it was something that happened, and then my boss handled it a certain way. And it's something that I would never do.
It's something that you did actually have happen to you, and you did handle
as a boss.
Yes,
exactly. So,
and you handled it a very different way.
Yeah,
like crazy. I'm sorry, I'm getting a cough drop because honestly, as you can hear from my voice, I've been going through it this past week. So, but we're here.
Are you putting the old ones away?
I am putting the old ones away.
Here's the old one. You. So we have 2 left. We have a 2-pager. And then we have a 1-pager. Ooh. So pick your poison.
I'm gonna do the 1-pager.
You can do whatever you want.
I'll do the 1-pager. We gotta save the 2-pager for last because this one's good. I mean, they're all good. They're all good. We appreciate all the submissions. Okay, so this one is crazy. I could not even believe this one. All right. She writes, I rage quit Marshalls. Love Marshalls.
Love Marshalls.
But not for this story. I rage quit Marshalls because my new DM thought who she was and moved me out of the Bridgehampton. Moved me out to Bridgehampton as a new assistant manager at a new location. I was excited to get there until I realized I was one of like 6 people who spoke fluent English with a team of all Spanish-speaking individuals. When I went to her with my concerns, she told me to learn the language. She's not moving me. The staff nicknamed me Diablo, which is funny because that's what we call Holly's dog.
She's El Diablo Pequeño.
She is Diablo Pequeño. The staff nicknamed me Diablo because I was too strict. My fellow managers were all Spanish except for one. He was a kiss ass and took a night course to learn Spanish. I would be like, you're paying for my night course. Like, you want me to learn Spanish, you're paying for my night course.
That's a good point.
Like, I wouldn't mind learning a new language. I would love that. But I'd be like, you have to pay for that.
That's a good point.
Right?
Yes.
Right? Like, I don't think she should have been expected, but I would have been like, okay, like, pay for my training. Mm-hmm. When I told her I'm done and I quit via email, she blacklisted me from ever working for the company, even though I left the state. I went to apply and I called and she was like, well, yeah, you quit without notice. I said, yeah, because you can fire without notice. What's the difference? I sent emails. I went through the chain of command and nothing was ever done to help me. So I left. I was being abused from the staff. No thanks. There's so much to unpack here.
There's a lot to unpack there.
While, like, the blanket statement of, well, you can fire without notice, so I can quit without notice, that I don't agree with because, and of course, I'm coming from the point of view of a boss, but we don't fire for no reason. You know what I mean? Like, if we're firing you, you know it's coming. You've had multiple warnings. You've had multiple write-ups. You know it's coming. We never make a fire a surprise. But in this case, it sounds like she went through all the hoops. She sent emails. She quit. So, and like, also, I would have quit too, to be honest.
Yeah, like, it seems like she really, like, tried to meet them in the middle there, and they were refusing. So, do I blame her for quitting without notice? No, after all of that. But I don't agree exactly with that, like, you know, why should you quit without notice when you can fire? And I don't know. I don't think that this is where there's, like, it gets tricky. Because when I worked for corporate, one of the jobs I worked for, I'll never forget, someone got fired every Friday at 4:30.
That's horrible.
Every Friday at 4:30, someone got fired. So to a degree, we were always expecting it, but you never knew. Like, they were just firing people every Friday at 4:30, and like, we didn't even fully know why. Like, half the time, like, why people were getting fired. So in that case, like, if people, like, some places, like some larger businesses, I guess, they just, or maybe it's just the business itself, like, in the management team themselves, they don't care about the employees, which is a major problem. But when you're it's not a accurate or like correct statement across the board. You know what I'm saying? Like when we have to terminate an employee, we give them warnings so they know it's coming. They're on a performance improvement plan, or they know that they're messing up and that we expect better. So it's never just a surprise. We never bring somebody in and we're like, you're fired, ever. And so we will absolutely just like, you know, they always know. So it's, even though we're not like, you're fired, but in 2 weeks, but it's like, oh, you knew this was coming because we warned you. So in that case, and then when, you know, people quit without notice in a small business, it's really hard to come back from that. Like, you know, we don't have like 1 million staff members who can cover. So it is very hard when people don't give us that respect, especially when the relationship is really, really good. And I like to think as a business owner that I break my back for my employees. So if ever somebody was to quit without notice, which we haven't had like in a really long time, but like when that does happen, it does feel like a kick to the face, like personally. Yeah,
it does. Because honestly, like to me, when somebody quits without notice, it says, well, you have nothing I want anymore, so I no longer respect you. Mm-hmm. That's what it says to me.
Yeah.
Excuse me. So it's like, because we've had that where people are so nice, I love you, you're the best, blah, 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 blah. The second that they don't need our job anymore, they're gone and they don't give a crap. We have had that, and it really feels like a kick in the teeth. And we would never do that to somebody. And I'm not going to say I've never quit a job without notice. I did maybe like once in my life. But again, it was a kind of a circumstance like this story where things were not okay. You know what I mean? I've never not given notice. And FYI, if you come in for a job interview and you say you're employed and you can start right away, that's a red flag.
Major red flag.
Tidbit for you guys looking for jobs. Major red flag.
Yeah, yeah. And I think, and you know, even with a lot of these larger corporations that do just like fire people, it's bullshit. Don't get me wrong. But you do get severance pay from a lot of these people. Like
that's true.
You know, there are policies to keep you kind of protected. That's not the case with every business, but it is the case with some of them. Yeah. So, you know, something to think about. But yeah, I think that if ever that happened to us, which it wouldn't, but like if I was in that position, paying for that person to take like, not hooked on phonics, but like whatever it is nowadays, I don't know. It would be nice, like, you know, like, oh, we're going to try, because you know, that's normal to put somebody through a class to learn how to do something.
I would be like, absolutely. If you are going to pay for this, I would love to learn Spanish so that it can be an easier work environment for all of us.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it also should be expected. Mm-hmm. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. It's not the native language and whatever, and it's hard to communicate that way. So, and it's not even like she was saying, like, fire them. She has to be moved.
Exactly.
So.
Like, come on.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Last story, 2-parter. It's a long one, but it's a goodie.
To get the thing
2 people are here, but I can't see who for some reason. So if you're here and you haven't said hi yet, just hop up. Oh, James Fleming says, looking good. Hi, Jim. Thanks for hopping on. If you are joining, say hello.
Hi. Okay, we're going to read the last one off our cards, and then we have a couple of our own to tell. And I am not anonymous.
Spill it all.
Dun,
I will
dun, dun.
spill it all.
Okay, so this says, right out of high school, I went and worked for a family law attorney, and it was the worst experience of my life. I was the receptionist there, mostly answered phones. When we moved offices, my front desk was right across the hall from one of the lead attorneys. And the attorney that I did the work for, he was always late, like always. He would show up whenever he wanted to, whatever, and that's fine. Because now as a business owner, so again, somebody who now owns a business, mm-hmm. I love that. Mm-hmm. I understand that that's part of the privilege of being the business owner, right? Well, one day I answered the phone and he was late and somebody asked to speak to him. And I said, well, he's not in yet. Can I take a message? As soon as I hung up, the attorney that I don't work for walked out of his office, slowly walked over to my area, and it was a reception area. And that attorney crossed his arms, leaned over the edge, and he looked at me and he goes, hi. And I was like, hi. And in my brain, I'm thinking, dear Lord, what did I do now that I'm going to be reprimanded for? Like, I hated whenever he came out because he only came out when I was in trouble. Oh, big mistake right there. Yeah. And he said, so I heard how you just answered that call. And what could we have, well, this is a little bit of a typo, but how could we have handled that differently? And in my brain, again, I'm thinking, well, if I knew, don't you think I would have done it so that I wouldn't have had to have this conversation with you? And let me just pause to say passive aggressiveness as a business owner or employer or manager is a no-no.
No, dealt with that. So that is so much worse. I would almost rather somebody scream at me.
Me too.
Like, honestly.
And I was like, I'm really sorry. I don't know. How could I have handled that differently? And he goes, well, when you say Mr. So-and-so is not in yet, you really make him sound like a slacker, like he's just showing up whenever he wants to. So instead you could have said, I'm so sorry. He's not available right now. And that would have made him sound much more professional, like he's just not coming in this morning. And I was like, oh my God, I get your point, but I think you're reading way too much into it, because every single time I made a mistake that he heard, he would walk out and have those conversations with me. It was awful to the point where I literally came home one day broken out in hives because I was just so stressed out. And that was when my husband said, go put in your notice. And still after that, I gave my 2 weeks notice and worked it out my 2 weeks.
No, that's crazy. First of all, I'm like, if you don't want to sound like a slacker, don't be a slacker. Period.
It's crazy.
Like,
it's crazy. But the passive aggressiveness is really what gets me on this one, because I just don't understand. I don't know why people can't just be honest.
No, literally, like if this person knew what that they did wrong, quote unquote, when, like she said, wouldn't I have just done it? Like, obviously I don't know what I could have done better because I didn't do it. Like, what are you talking about? Like,
I don't know.
That's just like so nitpicky too. I feel like that's another thing that is hard as a business owner or anybody in a leadership position, is to not micromanage. And it's a muscle that you have to train. And while it is difficult, you have to give people autonomy. You cannot nitpick every little thing that they do, because if you're hiring somebody to do a job, you have to know they're not going to do it exactly how I would do it. And that is okay. I'm paying them to do it. I'm giving them the decision-making process to do it. Now, it'd be different if she said something that was like totally against company policy, like, oh, he's hanging out with strippers. Like, that'd be like different. You know what I mean? Like, he's not in yet. Ooh, okay. Like,
he's hanging out with strippers. I can't.
Yeah, like he's hanging out with strippers.
Imagine.
I know. Like, that'd be different. But just to be like, he's not in yet. Like, nitpicking down to the word, I could never work for somebody like that ever.
Sorry, I'm adjusting.
No, you're fine.
I want to be comfy.
I know. Okay. It's hustled up after hours. You got to be comfy. We're in sweatpants.
I'm in a Fortnite tank top, so there's that.
I'm in my Hustle Haven hoodie, and I have major regrets because I am sweating. I was not that hot before I started drinking the Strawberryta.
That's true. It's just making me a little warm, too.
Yeah, me too.
A little warm. And I don't know if you guys can see, Laura, like, put a decal on the cup, and it says Hustled Up on it.
Yeah.
You see that? So I feel like it's hard to see it from this far away. I'm like,
it is.
Look.
It says Hustled Up, the podcast. The podcast. But yeah, no, that story was crazy. And honestly, the fact that she gave her 2 weeks is very admirable, because I would have been like, deuces, baby.
Honestly, they lost a very good employee, but I know who she is personally, and she's much better off.
Oh, Jen's on. Hi, Jen. And so is Lauren.
Hey.
Lauren's also on. We have 5 people watching right now.
Welcome to Hustled Up After Hours, guys.
Yes. If you are on, say hello. If you
have a drink
already.
With us. I'm feeling it already.
No, me too. It's because I haven't drank. I'm also on some medicine because I'm coming down from a little illness. So I think it's affecting me in ways.
For me, it's probably because I didn't eat dinner. I ate a late lunch, but
that'll do it.
I'm a little all over the place today.
That'll do it. Jen says, I love that story. I love that story too. Because like I would have been like, you ain't getting your notice. Deuces, baby.
Yeah. And my takeaway from that would be, and I had a similar, we both had, because we worked together for somebody who was passive aggressive all the time. And so we took the main takeaway from that was we were never going to be passive aggressive. And it took a while for us to learn. We were never passive aggressive, but we were people that just like buried our heads in the sand and let the employees mess up. Now we're very good at pulling them in and being like, listen, we need to work on this. And, we've done so much better with it, but never did we ever be passive aggressive since the day we hired our first employee.
No, never. I literally That is the one thing. Like, I feel like it took a lot for us to grow as leaders, and we're still learning. We're still always growing, but I feel like we've come such a long way. But the one thing I never did was be passive aggressive. Like, I would be like a pushover before being passive aggressive, because if I'm not brave enough to just be direct with somebody, then I don't deserve for my message or what I want to tell them to even be said. That's how I look at it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I agree. And that just causes like such major, it could cause rebellion and scrutiny and chaos and your employees talking crap about you and all this stuff. And it's not a way to be. Honestly, being passive aggressive is not the way to be in life.
No, I was going to say, I really try to pride myself to not even be like that in life, and I feel like that's why I have such great relationships with people, because the people around me too. Like, I don't hang out with passive aggressive people. It's not my jam.
Yeah, I'm working on it for sure. I just feel, but again, I don't feel like I'm passive aggressive. I feel like I just avoid confrontation and then let it fester.
Yes, me too.
That's what I do. But like, I'm not really passive aggressive. I just, I'll just be annoyed in my brain.
Me too. I'll just like let it fester, and then I'll stub my toe and then like, I'll cry.
Yeah. Then I'll be like, I can't take it anymore.
Yeah, exactly. All right. So this was all our submission. Which, thank you guys for everybody who submitted. We really appreciate you. This was so helpful. And on each live, we're going to be asking you for more participation. So be on the lookout for that. But it's not over, because Holly and I have some of our own tea to spill. Tea to spill. You want to go first?
Okay, yeah.
You want me to go first?
Yeah, you go first.
Okay, I'll go first. So one that I have in mind, which is so crazy. For those of you who don't know, was Bubbles the birthday clown for a little bit at a clown place. And as Holly likes to say, they would prey on actors because they'd be like, it's an acting gig. It's not. You're a birthday party clown dressing up like Elsa or the Teletubbies or whatever the hell.
No, literally, they made you like bring in your headshots and shit.
Yeah.
This
is not an acting job.
You're faking it.
Yeah,
like,
you're preying on young, desperate actors.
Yes.
And we were all desperate. We were.
Yeah. I think I went with you too, and then I decided I didn't want to do it.
Yes, you did. You did. Mm.
I did, right? Mm. Yeah, I was like, no, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good.
It was crazy. But there was so much wrong with this job, like so much wrong that like I could talk about for days. But the thing that baffled me the most that I'm going to pinpoint is the fact that I had never called out after working there for many, many months. And there was one day I called out sick with a stomach virus, and they said, well, if you don't come in today, you're fired. And I was like, first of all, it's the first time I'm calling in sick. And I said, okay, guess I'm fired then. Like, sorry, I don't know what you want me to do. You want me to throw up in the car? You want me to be around children? Because I'm literally a birthday party clown at children's birthday parties. I was like, you want me to risk getting children sick? Guess I'm fired. So that was it. I was fired. Then a few days later, they said, hey, Laura, can you actually come back in just for next weekend? We need you for one more weekend if you can come in for next weekend. But then you're done. Bruh. How, like, how much balls does that take?
Balls.
So I'm fired, but you need me one more time, so you'll no.
The trying to hire you back for one last weekend is funny as hell.
Yeah, no, if they were like, we want to hire you back in general, that'd be less bad. But being like, we want you, but just 1 week.
That is so funny. That is so...
Just 1 week.
That is crazy. That is absolutely crazy.
Yeah. No, it's literally nuts.
There's a few things to take away from that. Because number one, as a business owner, you have to let people call out sometimes.
Yes.
And sometimes it's not even necessarily... Like, you have to have an absence policy, right? Like, because... Some people need to call out for different things. Maybe it's not that you're waiting until you're super sick. Maybe you get a flat tire. Like, I know that's like the oldest excuse in the book, but still. Maybe you honestly, I've woken up on days where I'm like, I cannot get out of bed. Like, I just can't do it. I am mentally struggling and I need a day. And like, you have to allow that as a business owner, because we're all human and we're not robots, and we can't always be there all the time. But this is why a policy comes into place, because obviously under that mindset, like for me and Laura, before we had a policy, we let people abuse that, like abuse our empathy and our sympathy. And so I remember we had one girl who worked for us, and like she called out like
every day.
It was like, I think it was like 14 times in 1 year or something like that, or maybe more.
20, I think it was more than that.
24 times in a year. It was like wild. And so we were like, okay, we need a policy. But like, if someone doesn't call out ever, and then calls out. And we now, this is because of how we are as leaders. Our people never call out.
Never.
But I remember one time one of our employees called out after like a year, and me and Laura were like, damn, he must be really sick. Like, he must be really sick. And then a year later, he had to, because he's been with us for a long time. A year later, he was like, I really don't feel good. I want to go home after this client. And we were like, damn, you must be really sick. Like, I'm so sorry. And he didn't even come close to his absence totals that we were allowing. But it's like, you know, when people are taking advantage and when people aren't. But that's why it's so important to have these policies. Like, you have to be lenient. You have to grant things and, like, understand that people are human. But you obviously need to have those rules across the board for all of your employees.
Yeah, no, it's true. Jen just commented actually and said people need boundaries. If not, then nothing is wrong. They can get away with murder. And I think it's so true because if you don't have an absence policy, then you can't really get mad at your employees for calling out because they don't know what that boundary that Jen mentioned is. You know what I mean? It's like people that like get, as again, goes back to passive aggressiveness, people that get mad at you, but you don't know you did anything wrong. If you don't have a policy in place, then they're like, well, I could just get away with murder. So, like this place that I worked for, they didn't have a policy. Are you kidding me? They did so many illegal things that like I could talk about for days, which I won't. But they didn't have a freaking policy. I didn't get a warning. I got coming today or you're fired. Throw up on the little kids. I don't know. They want me to ruin the Elmo costume. Like, I don't know what they wanted from me. It's crazy.
It is crazy.
Crazy.
So I'll move on to my story. I kind of like shared the other ones as we were going. So I'm going to share this main one. It's like the main story for me, like my main story.
So good.
So yeah, I might get judged for this, but I used to work for another cleaning company and they were not in our current service area. So we're not even competitors, but still I feel like people judge. It's not like I poached any clients or anything when I started my own business. Well, when
people
I forced,
that know our story know.
When I forced Laura to come with me into the dark side and start a business. But so Laura and I were cleaning a house and my old boss only did cash because she did not do things legally. And I had been there it was over a year. Mm-hmm. It was over a year, right? So over a year, and I was her assistant. So like I was working like around the clock for her because she did not have automation. She didn't even have a CRM. And so I was like doing the reminder texts, you know, like the confirmations and stuff every day at night. I was like dealing with her clients like late at night if they were like complaining, and she was
off the clock.
She got so many complaints too because she just it just wasn't organized. And so I busted my ass for her. She went on vacations a ton and I was the one running the show. If like she was on vacation or even not, but like if an employee called out and if I happened to have the day off, I would go into work. Most of the time I worked 5 days a week, but sometimes I worked 4. And so about over a year into my position in the business, I was cleaning with Laura and we were paid cash, and we did our job. We went back to the office to return all of our supplies because she had like, we took company cars and returned supplies at the end of the day. And so we got back to the office and I realized that the money was missing. It was like $120 or something. It wasn't a lot, maybe 150.
I think 150.
150. Well, I say not a lot, but like, you know, in business terms, it didn't feel like much. Actually, to me back then, it felt like a ton. But now, like, based on how much we charge, I'm like, that was nothing, especially for the size house we were in. So I walked into her. I realized that the money was gone before I even got back inside to the office. And I said to Laura, I was like, the money's gone. And I started crying and I took responsibility because I'm her assistant. And like, I immediately took responsibility for the situation. I don't remember what happened. I don't even remember grabbing the money. Like, I don't know, like, to this day, I still don't know what happened. I walked into her office crying, and I told her that I was so sorry and that I misplaced the money, I think. And she texted the client. The client said she didn't know where the money was and didn't see it. She said she looked for it. I doubt she did, but she said she looked for it and didn't see it. And so, my boss told me that she was going to take it out of my paycheck. And I was so devastated that she was willing to take the money out of my paycheck when I was there for over a year. I did everything for her. And I was crying. Like, I'm not stealing this money over a year in. And I wouldn't have come back crying admitting it. And so I was literally devastated. She did not have any remorse for me. And another thing that bothered me was she took the whole amount out. So, like, I was paid, like, me and Laura were there and paid, and then also the profit. But, like, I would understand maybe if she wanted to take the money to pay Laura, for example, but or to pay me and Laura if, like, she didn't want to mess up her payroll. But it was all cash-based anyway. But regardless, she took the entire $140 out of my paycheck. And when that happened, I was so done. I couldn't believe she did that after like so much time of being so loyal.
I'm working off the clock. Like, Holly worked off the clock for her all the time. It used to drive me freaking nuts.
Yeah. I was getting paid $15 an hour. For back then, I guess it was a little okay because I think minimum wage was like 11 or 12 at that point. Mm-hmm. But either way, like, it wasn't great money. I only got paid when I was clocked in. I was not a salaried employee. So I was really, really defeated by that. And it's funny because we had that happen. And actually, the person that we had hired was newer at the time.
She was very new. She was like
a few weeks old. Yeah, like very new. And she genuinely did not know where she put this envelope. And we told her that if we got lucky, because it was actually a flex client. So we were like, our flex people know our flex program is something where they pay a discounted price. So it was actually cheaper. And, so it wasn't a super high amount of money. I think it was like $90 something or $100, maybe $100.
Yeah.
But yeah, sure, it sucked. Like, money went missing.
Yes.
Right? That sucks. Yes. There was a little bit of irresponsibility there. She was new. She was probably nervous. Maybe she dropped it. I don't know. But either way, we put our faith into this person. And she actually just left. And she left on very good terms. And she was with us for about a year. And her clients loved her. And our relationship was really, really good. Mm-hmm. And I would never take money out of somebody's paycheck when they're working for me. Like, no. Obviously, if it happened twice, maybe I'd be like, okay, something's weird here.
Yes.
There are obviously circumstances around that, but like, I learned from my old boss that people deserve a second chance, mm-hmm. and mistakes happen and accidents happen. And so I learned my lesson from that. And it's just crazy. Like, it's literally crazy. And I'm still so butthurt about that to this day.
Oh, I don't blame you. Because, like, it was just so wrong.
It was so wrong. And that same boss, we found out, actually before that incident, I don't know why we stayed as long as we did. Because before that incident, we found out she was stealing tips. Because clients were paying cash. Again, everything was cash. And we were not getting the remaining tip out. And it wasn't until she gave us our notes on a piece of paper, I noticed that the numbers didn't line up. And I was like, we're not getting tips we're supposed to be getting. And she played dumb when we brought it up to her. And then we started getting the tips. I actually started taking the tips myself. I was like, we are taking the tips out. And
as we should.
Yeah. And even during Christmas time, like, she would give us, so she would make us collect the tips, like, from the Christmas tips, like the holiday tips. And they would be like hundreds and hundreds of dollars going into a pot. And she would make us give it all to her. And then she would pay it, distribute it out to everybody. But it only totaled like $500. And with the amount of clients and based on my knowledge of like how many we were doing, and now that I look back on it with like how many clients we have versus how many she had and stuff like that, I could confirm. Like, I could confirm she was stealing Christmas tips as well, and she did not clean at that point. Yeah. So I just think that she was honestly a shit person, and the alcohol is getting to me because I can't. But I'll never be okay with what she did.
No, it was not okay. Honestly, though, I'm grateful for her because she, again, taught us a lot of what we will never do.
Yeah.
Like, that was not okay.
And it's hard because she seemed like somebody who was so nice and who wanted to be on our side. And, you know, actions speak louder than words. Like if you own a business or if you're in a position of management, just remember that you can tell somebody you appreciate them only so many times, but if you're not showing them that, they are not going to give a crap what you're saying.
Yep.
They're really not. You need to show them. You need to show them that they are valued, and there are different ways to do that. Obviously, you can learn their love language and things like that. And, you know, like for me, we do it verbally and we do it with gatherings and with gifts, and they obviously keep all their tips, and we even pay them bonuses for random things because we're always looking for ways to put more money in their pockets because like they are all very money motivated. But like even just yesterday, I sent one of my girls a message, and I never got things like this when we worked there, but I sent one of my girls a message. I was like, you know, I know this is like a very thankless job, because she was going to like a tough house. And I was like, I know this is a very thankless job. I said, and you know, your clients may not always be singing your praises, but just, I want you to know that like, we appreciate all the hard work you do for your clients and therefore for us. And your work means so much. And like, she was so happy when we said that.
Yeah, she was like, I love you guys. Like, she's the crying faces.
She was so happy. Like, and it's just, it doesn't take a lot to be a good person and to be a good boss. It really doesn't. Yeah.
It doesn't cost anything, too. To send a message of appreciation, it costs nothing. It takes 2 seconds, but nobody does it.
No.
Nobody does it.
And then you end up with miserable employees. And like, even though these people on these cue cards, like I always say, like, how are they still in business? I could guarantee that these businesses are not operating smoothly. There is chaos, and you know, it's just like nothing is operating smoothly in a business like that.
Yeah. No, it's true. It's true. And like another thing too, from that job specifically that I feel like we took a really like and ran with it, is safety. Safety.
Oh, yeah.
Covering our butts. Wasn't sure I was going to spill this tea, but the alcohol is getting me to spill it. The alcohol is getting me to spill it.
Hustled up after hours, baby.
This Hustle Teenie, a.k.a. Rita.
Hustle Rita.
Hustle Rita. It's a Hustle Rita.
It's a Hustle Rita. I love it.
But Holly and I, like, and our employees know, like, we're a little annoying about it, about safety. Like, our employee handbook has, like, pages and pages and pages about safety because it's so important. Like, we don't fly by the seat of our pants. We are all about safety, all about making sure they're safe, because there's a lot of liabilities with our industry specific. There's a lot that can happen. Like we have workers' comp, we have HUAO. We are so covered, and we are make sure that they are safe and protected. And due to one of my employers, I have a lifelong injury in my neck. I have a herniated disc because I got into a car accident on the job, and which again, like you would think, okay, that's not her fault. But the morning of, we had a work car. We had 2 different work cars, one that was very new and one that was very old. The old car, we all knew, had brake issues. Like, we all talked about how we did not feel safe in this car. The brakes suck. We did not feel safe. So the morning of that I was going out, I said, oh, I'm the only one going out today. Can I please have the new car? She said, no, I have to go to the dentist, so I need the new car. And that day, I'm driving.
Because she did not. So she had 2 company cars and no cars of her own.
Yes. 2 company cars. One, and they were her personal cars. So I couldn't take the car that I felt safe in because she had to go to the dentist. Whatever. Lesson learned.
Which is blocks away, but besides the point.
But like, honestly,
I'm getting spicy now.
No, it's true, because you know what? And I learned something for myself from this too. Like, speak up. Like, I should have been like, I do not feel safe. I will not drive this car.
Yeah, that's what I should have said. That's a good message for employees.
Yes.
Because I am on the side of the employee.
Yes.
And so if you ever feel like your boss is taking advantage of you, speak up. And now I'm not saying be rude, be disrespectful, be, you know, rebellious, like, but just be honest with what you are feeling.
Yes. Exactly. Yeah. No, that's like, I will take accountability where accountability is due. I should have spoke up more. But anyway, so I took the car, and of course, that day, somebody cuts me off. I get into a car accident because the brakes literally failed. And now I have a lifelong injury. Then I didn't sue her. Everyone was like, you guys should sue her. And I'm like, I'm not going to sue her. Like, I don't think she was intentionally, like, trying to be a bad person. I think she was careless and reckless. So
a little selfish.
Very selfish. But I wouldn't have felt right suing her when I know that there wasn't malice behind her intentions, and she was just careless. So one thing Holly and I have learned is to not be careless. We will not be careless. with our employees, with their health, with their safety, with their happiness. Like, we are literally annoying. Like, if we can't get in touch with an employee, we're like, are you dead? Are you live?
We tell them during onboarding too, we're like, if we message you, we expect a response within 5 minutes, because if you do not respond within 5 minutes, I'm going to assume that you are not alive. And then I'm going to get upset and angry and pissed off and stressed and anxious. Yeah. And I literally tell them that during onboarding. I'm like, do not let me down.
Yeah, we do. We're crazy. But yeah, so like, safety is number one. And if you don't feel safe in your work environment, or you're not providing a safe work environment for your employees, fix that ASAP.
Yeah.
ASAP.
Are you still alive?
I think so. Oh no. Am I not?
I don't know.
It looks like I am, but what happened?
Can you guys comment if you're still seeing us live?
Oh no.
Maybe it was.
Something happened.
Does it say that it's off, or does it say
says
that
waiting
it's
for live signal?
Oh, I guess you gotta restart your screen.
Very weird. Very weird. We had people too.
Did we?
Yeah.
Come back. Baby, come back.
I think we're back.
Baby, come back.
Are we back?
Can you guys see us and hear us? Leave a comment. Leave a comment.
Comment Hustle Teeny.
No, Hustle Rita.
Hustle Rita. It's a Hustle Rita. Oh my goodness. Yeah. So, whoops. Yeah. So lots of tea.
All of this to say to my old bosses,
you suck.
Yes, but no. Do better.
Yes.
Like, you, all of you probably are still either owning a business or managing your team or like whatever you're doing. Or maybe you're doing a different management position, but like, do better. You are given a second chance by still having a business. And I hope that you learned from your mistakes. And I learned from your mistakes.
Yeah,
I did. I learned from your mistakes, and there's a lot that I have taken with me to my business. And even though we are in a crazy season of turnover right now, just because of spring cleaning season and just chaos, pretty much, because it's just the season we're in. It's not due to anybody not liking us or feeling disrespected or feeling undervalued or feeling like we're being passive aggressive or feeling unsafe.
Yeah, our last employee that left, so you know how most people will give their 2 weeks and they will cut that short? She extended hers. She literally gave us a full 2 weeks and then said, you know what? I want to just finish out the month with you guys. I want to say goodbye to all my clients. I want to make sure all their notes are updated, that they're in good hands. Who does that? Like, that is a testament, A, to the character that she has, and B, to the job environment that we created. Like, I am proud to say that.
We also had another girl who had to leave because she moved. She was only with us for 3 weeks, but like there was crazy chaotic last minute circumstances in her life that she had to move. And when she came to drop off her equipment and like say her goodbyes, she hugged me and was like, I love you. This was the best job I ever had. I'm like, girl, you've been here 3 weeks. What are you talking about?
That's so sad.
But like literally, like that is the type of environment we have created, and there will never be an employee here who doesn't feel appreciated, or at the very least like cared for and valued. We've had employees that have had crazy ass needs and stuff, and I am always trying to figure out like how I can help them. So just I hope that everybody who either hopped on the live, I don't know if anybody's still with us, but
there's 3 people here. I don't know who, because I can't see.
If anybody here is in a position of management or leadership, I hope that you learned something from this, because it was fun to spill the tea and to vent it out a little bit. But there is something to learn from this conversation. And it does not take a lot to be a good person. It doesn't cost a lot of money to be a good person and a good boss. And it, if anything, is going to save you a lot of money down the line if you're just a decent human being.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And thank you to everybody who wrote in and all the bosses in these stories. Do better.
Yeah, and all the bosses in those stories, thank you for giving us content, but like treat your people better, because you're assholes.
We're assholes. What should the topic of the next Hustled Up After Hours be for that? There's only 2 people still here. I'm not sure who's here. But
I had an idea, but I can't remember what it was.
Well, I originally had said I wanted to talk about cleaning horror stories because I know it's very industry specific. I'm sorry, it's our industry. We're going to talk about it sometimes. But like cleaning horror stories, like y'all, I cannot even begin to tell you some of the things that have happened while out in the field.
Yeah. We like, definitely have some stories for sure.
A lot of tea to spill there, a lot. But I'm wondering. Jen is still here. Oh, Jen, you're the best. Thank you for being so supportive.
She supported us since day one. Like when we dropped our business, when we dropped the Hustle Haven announcement, she was right there on it. I know. Honestly, Jen, you're amazing. And a lot of my even friends in my life suck because I did not get congratulated by pretty much anybody in my personal life.
No, I know.
And so if you're watching this, you suck.
Yeah. It's interesting that moments like that where you take on new ventures or do things outside the box where you kind of really see who's there for you and who isn't, who's going to congratulate you, who's going to ask you what you're up to, who's going to hop on a live video at 7:00 at night. It's so sweet.
No, thank you so much. I'm so excited to see you in a couple days.
Yes, in 2 days. 2 days.
Not even. It's 36 hours or something like that.
For those of you who don't know, we are road tripping 13 hours
to see this beauty.
Yes, this beauty queen to Tennessee.
Tennessee. Yes. And then we're gonna go line dancing. I'm just kidding. I don't know. I want to. I would love that. I want to go line dancing. If
Jen, will you line dance?
Will you line dance with us? Even if it's not this time, when we go to Nashville, we'll do it. When we go to Nashville in September, we'll line dance.
She said we had to wait too long. We did make y'all sweat and wait for this announcement. We had to build the suspense. We had to build it.
And we did. Did it work? Were you guys what's the word? Contemplate? No, not contemplate. Anticipating.
Anticipation.
Amazing. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for being here, guys. And for anybody catching the replay of this, make sure you go follow us. We are at Hustle Haven LLC on Instagram and TikTok. And you can also find us at the Hustle Haven on Facebook as well. So come hang out with us. We have so many fun announcements coming too. The Heart is official. It is launching. It is dropping.
Yes, we have a location.
We have a location. We have the price. We have already made the price for all the dues. But the Heart is going to be a networking group that is going to be so much more than just handing out business cards and getting referrals. It's for people who really want to connect, and for people who are looking for education, for people who are looking for support, and also looking to give support as well, and to give advice and to teach. So it's going to be huge. Obviously, it'll be great if we can get some business along the way, but we have one chapter. It's local to us. We would love to be able to have chapters all around the country that. We have big goals for that. So, but for the people who are local, that is, when are we doing that?
July 3rd is going to be the first meeting.
July 3rd, day before the 4th of July.
July 3rd, 7:15 a.m., bright and early. You're going to have a nice little breakfast. We're going to be announcing all the details soon. We're going to have an application because as we said, we want to make sure that we get people who are looking for what we have to offer. We want to make sure we're looking for people who are aligned with what we want. And like Holly said, not here to just throw business cards out and walk away and be done. We're looking for real connections, genuine connections. And I'm so excited to announce it. Oh, it's going to be so good.
There's so much good stuff coming, guys. So, make sure you keep up with us. But thank you so much for watching. I'm sorry for the crazy technical issues for this episode.
Yeah.
We will figure that out and work out the kinks. And hopefully we can get this streaming properly next time. But thank you to those of you who came to us on Laura's Facebook page, and we will definitely make sure we get it right next month. But
Absolutely.
Remember, the first Thursday of every month at 7 p.m. and we will actually be ready by 7 p.m. I promise. And again, if you're catching the replay of this episode, thank you so much for being here, and we will see you guys. Well, we'll see a bunch of you when we see you, and for the people who stream our podcast, we'll see you next week, and the people who are here for Hustled Up After Dark, we'll see you next month.
Yes. Bye guys. Have a great weekend.